There you
You
go.
know,
There you go.
it's
Much
been
better.
whew, it's been a very long match, and now with a bit of an extension of the breaks, you have to understand we and Croatia need a bit of a break because they're still gunning it, playing one more match here right now against Turkey in match number 2. So it's a second match against a region with a bit more of a reputation. It's definitely a fight against the odds, with an uphill battle, if you may, against Croatia. And you're still with me, Arashi and Burger Kim. We are here for the long run, man. We are ready.
Oh boy, please don't put it that way when you say long run. Are we really gonna go that route, Arashi? Are we gonna go that route? Well, I mean, if it's Croatia you're talking about, it's the defenders that you're talking about to go up against Turkey. Well, they have to bring out all that they got. I mean, hopefully they're not that tired out yet from the first three games that we've seen today. But
Yeah.
looking at this series, Arashi alone, this is gonna be a whole different lineup that they're going up against. This is Turkey that you're talking about. Let's take a look at who they're going to be fielding in here today. It's going to be
Ooh.
Unohana, you got Mireya, you got Priceless, you got, oh, not to be confused with Miko, and Nora for the side of Turkey.
All right. Me being me, as always, immediately look at Unohana. It's like, okay, very cool name. Those of you who
Mm-hmm.
get the reference, get the reference. But yeah, it's looking, even from the names, you're kind of feeling a bit more of confidence right here, in
Mm-hmm.
my personal opinion. And I think they're a menacing lineup to go up against. All right, again, it's even being under the Turkish flag already gives you that much more of a, of a mental boost. But up against them, it's gonna be Croatia. Let's take a look at the roster. For those of you who are still unfamiliar with the players that you can expect to see, it's Speed or Feed, So Useless, Ivona 77, Succubus, and Die or Buy. Very familiar because we just saw 3 long games with them. They are back at it again, and we are hoping that they're gonna be able to make it, muster up all the energy and make this once again a very competitive, very exciting match between the two regions.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be, well, hopefully, wow.
Oh,
Okay, if you're
oh.
talking about long matches, that was a very fast ban coming through for both sides. Croatia. Ooh, this was something that made them win the first game. Like game-changing
Mm-hmm.
ultimates from the enhanced chains from the Julian. And immediately, I think they also did the exact same thing for game number 1 up against Belarus. So I think they're very comfortable with this hero. That's number 1. And number 2, I think this is a comfort coming out from Ivona, right? Like not this is not something you would see so often coming out in the draft first. You'd see more of the Rogers. Here's like this. Yes, the Valentina. Speaking of the Roger, it's also open, by the way, for the side of Turkey. Zushin is also out for the count. So I think they can either go for that or maybe a playmaking XP laner or either take the Roger at that. So I think Turkey is gonna definitely go that route. The Valentina Roger, very meta, 2 heroes that really surface in the draft, especially in the first phase.
I'm expecting the Vexana to make an appearance once more for the side of Croatia.
Oh,
That
dire
seems to be
buy.
something that
Yeah.
Diobai is very familiar with, comfortable with. Against a Vexana, against a Valentina and a Roger, very close range.
And the
That card
Ruby.
control can be very valuable. Ruby can make an appearance as well right here and gear up. I was gonna say for that late game defensive style. Hanabi once again shows up, so
Ooh,
not the
let's
Ixia.
go.
They want a bit more safety, a bit more shielding and crowd control immunity, a built-in purifier right here. If they bring up another hero, they can give a shield to the Hanabi. They can augment this
Okay.
even more. But even the X-Borg right here, I believe no, I think Belarus was the one using it in
No, it
match
was
number 1, if
Belarus
I'm
that
not
used
mistaken.
it. Yeah, it
Right,
was relaxed and mommy using it. So
in the
with
jungle.
this, I think they're just making sure that their sides are also covered. Oh, okay. So this time they're going for like fast clear side, split push potential also from the side of Turkey here. So there's a massive amount of split push potential here for Turkey and the game changing ultimates that can be taken away from by the Valentina. So they still need both sides definitely still need a roamer. That is a solid fact. So it seems like based on the matches that we've seen, it's mostly on the supports and the Minotaur that has been popping up here in the women's division. So That might be a ban that will come through here, but it means that you're just going to be limiting out a whole lot of your options too if you take away the roamer ban. So Turkey right now, they're taking away the Harriet too. So I think I'm not so sure if they watched the matches previously, right? So I think they're also thinking that this Julian might be a mid laner or an XP laner, right? So I think they're just taking out all the possible options because I'm not so sure why we would ban the Harriet in the second phase, right? Knowing that there's already the Hanabi,
Right.
so it can no longer go to the gold lane, and there is the Exborg and the Julian, right? So there's already the possible XP lane there. So I think they're gearing up for a fact that this is a mid lane Julian.
They're prepping for a mid lane. Wait, hang on a minute. If it's a mid lane Julian, that
Jung
still means
XP lane Xborg, right? So I think that's what they're thinking of right now. And then maybe like they want somebody else in the jungle. Harriet, let's take out the Harriet. And Croatia
okay. I mean,
taking out playmakers, Kufra. So I was talking about like supports, right? And we didn't really see more of like Kufras. It was like a lot of the minotaurs, especially in the first series. So Croatia is just eliminating that option, especially like one Tyrant's Rage can really change the tides of a single clash.
and it's still a very quick, reliable engage. And Turkey is well known for that aggressive style too. So being more concerned about the potential for those big pick-off plays, I think is a valid concern. The Harith, I still think it's a bit of a reach. I feel like even if they do kind of swap around this Julian and the Xborg and come up with a crazy, conclusion right here, I still feel I feel like it's still gonna be a bit of a force coming in from Croatia. And if Turkey actually saw the match as well that Croatia were playing, I feel like it wouldn't be that they wouldn't go with this option. But they ban away the
Yeah.
Harith, they get the Loi out of the way as well. So no macro threat anymore with the chip also banned away by the side of Croatia, and they ban away the Terizla. So they're still concerned about a full-on dive type of composition from the side of Turkey. And if they want to do so, I feel like they can still very much bring in. They still have more flex potential right here. Technically, the jungle can still be shown now if they move the Benedetta to the EXP lane and the Roger to the gold. So I like the way that they are hiding a bit of their decisions from the side of Croatia.
Ooh, I think this is also very interesting coming out from Croatia, right? Like they're thinking that this is Benedetta in the jungle and the Roger in the gold. So I'm still thinking that this could be a possibility that this is a Benedetta jungler. And it's also weird to see like the last two bans of Turkey are Harriet and Lois. Like why would you ban a Harriet then ban a Loi, right? Like it's more of like it's very confusing. Like who are they trying to ban? Is it the gold or are they purely trying to ban any or maybe they have some information that maybe die or buy is actually flexible, right? Like knowing how to use the Harriet as well. Last two picks is going to
Ooh.
be a Lolita here, but they have a Valentina on the
Hmm.
other side. I guess it's good up against the projectiles of the Roger, and they still need a mid lane damage dealer. The Vexana hasn't been banned away, so they can go for that. But hey, you know what? This is late game you're talking about. You're talking about securing the late game 30 minutes game, two back-to-back 30 minutes game straight for Croatia, and they want to secure that late game. They got a Hanabi, they got a Cecilia on the late game, Queen and King respectively is in their lineup, and Turkey is gonna amp up that early game with the Amon for their final pick.
The Amon showing up again right here. You have to remember that was Belarus. This time it's Turkey, right? I don't think expecting the game to go all the way to the late game the same exact way is a good approach because you never know, right? Maybe Turkey won't be as snowbally, but will be a lot better at breaking open the base. So I feel like it's a bold maneuver to immediately gear up for the late game again, expecting a similar turnout. Particularly because even for Belarus, they were able to actually solve that game and find a way, right? I feel like part of why they went with the Lolita here is that a bit of that thought of maybe if the Ixia comes through, if the Roger got flexed into the jungle, and then it's a gold lane Ixia, they just went up against it. And if they were going to go up against the Ixia, then the Lolita can actually cancel out or at least negate a lot of the damage coming in from the ultimate using that bulwark. That would be the thought process I would expect coming in from Croatia. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1. Can Croatia once again pull off the defense, the late game, or will Turkey find a way to more reliably crack open that fortress?
Is it going to be again the defenders up to the late game? But wow, this is talk about aggressive though. Look at Unohana. That was way too fast. Looking at this, it is actually Benedetta in the XP lane. So that's how fast she rotated towards that lane. And actually thought that for a while that was a mid lane, but Dire Bai right now as well gonna be getting that Firaga armor out. Priceless, gonna be able to benefit from that passive. First blood being drawn here by Turkey. It's gonna be Miko taking out the Hanabi. Definitely the Roger has a lot more advantage. Hana as well, a solo kill onto Die or Buy. Wait, this is interesting. Speed or Feed right now going for the mid lane. So they all switched up their roles. Let's see if this is going to be enough for their side. Succubus as well onto the roamer position. But there goes the shards coming out from the Amon. Instant burst
From
down,
Maria.
even for someone as tanky as Succubus.
Man, Turkey, talk about aggression, man. Every single lane is just amping it up to 11. And even if Ivona comes through right here, there's a chance of dives happening because there is the Mathilda to really supplement and support the aggressive style, the mobility tools available for Turkey. And this is tough. With a late game composition, it's going to be very difficult to go up against a lineup like this where everyone can kind of dive in the back line, and there are ways to kind of secure those kills even if you play it safely behind or under your turret. With the Amon or with the Benedetta as well, immediately Turkey goes into the jungle, goes for a kill.
The pressure as well being shown here by Unohana onto the jungle side here of Croatia is just really doing lots for the team. And now with this, they can dive onto Dire Bai. There's a lot of pokes coming through here, and the Circling Eagle onto Dire Bai. She still does not have the last Insanity right now, and the Electro blow to clear out the waves. Everybody is at par here when it comes to the HP bars, but that's going to be 3 members of Croatia down here, down south, to support Die or Bai. 3 kills for the side of Turkey, and even here onto this gold lane, Miko is just 1 level ahead here. Again, so useless. So Ivona is forced to rotate towards this lane. Ooh, that is getting really spicy as well. You see the Sky Piercer being picked up here by Mireia. So that's going to be additional instant burst damage coming out from the side of Turkey as well.
That was a great play for Ivona to kind of predict the aggression, but now look at this. Succubus is available to try and set up a trap.
Yep. Even the trap, it is going to be Turkey that sets it out first. But now here comes the retaliation, the flicker out here from Priceless. Bat's Feast. There's not enough damage just yet. 2 kills already for the side of Turkey on the gold lane. So this is something that they have to take note of. And at the same time, they're also getting pressured in the XP lane. So it seems like all lanes are pressured here by Turkey. So they know very well for a fact that apart from Croatia being the defenders, being the late game queens, they understand as well that their draft works in the early. And this is exactly how you should work around the very early game type of draft, right? They can go all aggressive from the start. You see the ultimate being laid out there, but it's to no avail. Succubus again gonna get taken down there by the Circling Eagle. Man, a lot of the energy shields have been taken here as well by Turkey, and immediately they go straight for the turtle.
This is just a bit of a show-off play coming in, but look at this damage from Ivona though. Miko goes in.
Oh wow, that's a lot of pokes coming from the Sicilian here of Speed or Feed. But man, it's not enough to take them down. Succubus right now does not have the Numenon Blast here to set things up yet. But if there are times that she does have the Numenon Blast, it seems to get either cancelled out or there's no follow-up here. And Turkey, they're just getting in gold after gold, objective after objective. Whoa! A 1v1. Unohana with a great escape with 1 HP. And there goes a Numenon Blast with the flicker, and still anticipated by both sides as they dash away. Again, Turkey, 7 kills to boot, 5 minutes in. They are on the lead right now. Ivona is going to be the target there by the Circling Eagle, and immediately dashes out. Turkey in the lead with 2 turtles and possibly looking for the last one as well.
Man, individual outplays is the name of the game for Turkey, man. Every single player is doing crazy things, and now look at Ivona getting bursted
Oh,
down.
wow, that was the the shards and now Priceless. Okay, I thought that was a Numen Blast from the side of Croatia, but it was actually a copy from Priceless. And that was Priceless for you. All you need to do is take the Valentina and you guys can get those priceless skins. Just copy it, right? And that was a beautiful setup from Priceless. And now, will they actually try to go for the retaliate? They get the Sanguine Claws here, but now Berea as well. Gonna try to go in for the like and power speed of her feet. It is going to be the first one to fall. So useless as well. Running down real low. They're getting in the turret damage as Miko will be sandwiched in between. Gets outplayed this time by Croatia, but they might go in for the follow-up. And now they go for the revenge play. Mireia and the rest of the gang will be able to successfully get in that revenge play and the tower as well on the bottom side as Unohana has been doing so well up against Dairobai as well. Like, the 1v1s are just so real, 2 levels ahead up against Dairobai as well.
And they finally get the bottom turret from that engage. Look at the items. It says Nora has no items at all, and I find that hard to believe. She has been very active around the map, and usually on the roamer, you're a bit of an enabler, but on the Mathilda especially, she was just making the plays happen again and again, and now they go in to try and punish Croatia.
Okay, Sokabus goes in for the Numenon Blast. It does stun them for a bit, but look at So Useless. It's starting to hurt real bad right now. But with the follow-up play, though, from Unohana, just working her way around the map, and that's exactly what you should do as a Benedetta. You are so... Honestly, like, if you have a Benedetta, right, like the split push I was talking about, you can definitely do that. And they now have switched up their lane, so it's going to be even more faster when Turkey will push the side lanes here. They've already gotten in 3 turrets, 3 turtles, so 14 kills to their name. And now with this next Lord, I think they should be able to at least close out, like at least take down the second tier towers that's left here for Croatia.
I mean, Turkey is just playing so much more decisively. They know at every single moment what they're trying to go for. I mean, Rhea, though, just absolutely not giving any respect at all to the engage potential from Croatia. She understands that targeting is required for Croatia to get an engage due to the Lolita being the main primary engage tool.
Oh,
so just
no.
goes in, and Succubus once again gets deleted almost immediately, along with the turret. Turkey taking full control.
Yeah, I mean, even under the safety of their own turret, right? There's no place safe in the land of Dawn for Croatia if Turkey has been showing this amount of control across the map. They're not even gonna let this reach the late game, right? We're talking about Croatia that has defended 8, possibly more than 10 lords right now at this point, right? They've been playing back-to-back games, and right now Dairobai gonna get in that circling eagle and the Numenon Blast from the backside as well to stun him with nothing to do at all, as Turkey just completely wipes out everyone they see all across the map. But I do have to point out, though, Croatia, it is fine for them to just keep on letting this extend, right? This game 8 minutes in, they do understand that this is an early game composition, so they're like, okay, late game, we got in 2 great late game heroes, the late game queen and king, so let's extend it to that, right? The first lord is just going to be just a lord, not an enhanced one, so they can take this one, just give it out to Turkey and defend this one, maybe get Turkey to their base, and maybe perhaps they could do exactly the same thing that they did up against Belarus in the first series.
I think that's an option, but when you're saying that, oh, they want to drag it out to the late game, I think it's a bit risky here. It is below 10 minutes, and it's well past a 10,000 gold lead for the side of Turkey, by the way. So Croatia are being pressured even more than ever right here. So if they really want to stall this game, they have to find different ways of doing it, man. Because once again, Croatia's members, every single time they overstep even slightly out of their base, Turkey is absolutely zoning them, just keeping them locked into their own side.
Yep, Succubus is trying to find an opening, going to be blocking in the projectiles coming out from the side of Turkey. Half HP for the Lord, and now Succubus goes in for the Numenon Blast. Not going to go in for the Flicker. And now you see Priceless as well. Going to be able to do in the 1-2 combo. It's just enough to take everyone from the side of Croatia down, as Unohana able to zone the members of Turkey out. They are able to create the pressure. But now, are they going to be able to take down some inhibitors? And now Priceless going to go for the Numenon Blast. Stuns in 2. Mielo goes in for the like and pounds, but not going to go for more. It's just an intimidation here. And 1 HP left for the turret here. Massive show of dominance and aggression here from Turkey. 10 minutes into the game. It's just insane how they're able to play this so clean. It's pretty much like the game that Belarus had, right? But they're a little bit more disciplined.
And even though they didn't really set up for a three-wave push, they're showing that they know how to use their muscle and their gold lead to just completely break apart the base, even though they're doing it one by one. They're able to force the side of Croatia to use all their ultimates and instead just lose up all their objectives. And look at this, die or buy. Turns out it's a buy completely. Too over eager to just step out of the base, and the punish from the side of Turkey is again what is allowing them to do so. Look at the gold difference, man. Turkey is close to 40,000 gold compared to Croatia, who is on 26. Maybe the widest gold disparity we've seen in the European qualifiers so far. And Turkey is not letting up, especially with the fact that they have a Matilda. They can stick around too. Even if they want to stick around, the healing coming in from Nora on this Matilda will allow them to sustain back up. And usually it won't be that reliable, but considering again the advantage, it's just so dangerous. And look at this. They're not really pressed to try and push the waves too eagerly. They're very happy to let it sit around in the mid lane to punish anyone who overextends if they greed out to try and get that extra bit of gold. Let's take a look at the items right here with the full damage Benedetta, with the Heptases, with the Sea Halberd as well. And for Miko, I think earlier she was on the Thunderbelt. Now we see an endless battle. So adaptations, adjustments to the build even before reaching 6 items, man. That's how far ahead Turkey is right now.
I think with this amount of gold lead, you are very much flexible to do whatever you want, right? Because you're talking about more than 10k gold lead, so it's going to be really hard to close in that gap, right? And so you see how aggressive Turkey is, and one by one they are just able to do exactly just that. And even Miko is just soloing that Lord. She's not even rocking in a Brave Smite here. I mean, you're not a carry, but she's not rocking the Brave Smite, just rocking in the Quantum Charge here. So it doesn't matter. Like, she was soloing the Lord while the rest of her teammates were just trying to go in for the pickoffs. Oh no. I know this is called tas 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 in Indo, right? Like it's the recalls coming through from Mireya. And I think, when it reaches that point, Arashi, I think that is just sheer confidence from a team that they know they got this in the bag. But you know what? I'm not so sure if they've seen the games of Croatia. They are just the defenders here. Let's see if they can cleanly execute and close out the game this time. Priceless. He gets into the Numenor Blast. It's a double Numenor Blast, but it is going to be Priceless that gets in the better one. They do get the shutdown onto Mireya. A double kill for Ivona once again into the base, as Miko will be able to pick up a double as well. The Lord is here. Urohana locking in the base, tanking up the base, but it is not enough. It is still going to be Croatia still standing, but can they make it through? Because there are minion waves up top and down bot, and they still make it happen. It is still going to be the defenders defending up against that Lord. That was pure aggression from Turkey. Did you see the Numenon Blast? But a little bit too overconfident there, though. There was also a counter set up from the other side, so they're still alive and kicking here for Croatia. And honestly, at this point, Arashi, I am not even surprised that this happened.
Deja vu to match number 1, man. Turkey, I think they're really trying to catch Croatia off guard, which is usually a great strategy against a team that wants to play this long, drawn-out style. The Numenon Blast stole with the IMU with the flicker, unfortunately did not really land on multiple people there. And as a result, when the fight begun, Turkey actually lost 1 or 2 members already. Fortunately for them, it was kind of salvageable, but look at Nora right now.
Yep, Nora. She's going to try to make in some plays. Succubus going to get in speed for feed. Or rather, it's going to be Unohana getting speed for feed. But now it's going to be a double Numenon Blast once again. Who's going to get the better trade? Ooh. It's going to be Evoke getting taken down there. It is going to be one less problem. It is down to So Useless. Who's going to try to defend the base? But it's going to be useless and futile. As finally Turkey secures in game number 1.
like I said, it's not wise to assume that your next opponent will act and play like your previous opponent. Turkey once again shows that it's a different level, right? They have a more solid understanding about the game, and even if they go for that early game style, they know how to close it out. Of course, they're not perfect, and you saw moments where they slipped up, where you saw that Croatia once more finding ways to kind of succeed in the base fights. But overall, with your backline being so vulnerable against a Mathilda and a Benedetta, man, all the way from the beginning, the mechanical outplays, the fact that they were able to constantly dodge away from big crowd control tools on the side of Croatia means that Turkey can just keep going and making these plays. Look at Nora, man. She again and again she keeps going in with low HP and without the purifier on the Mathilda. That's very risky. But she uses it to enable the engage potential from the Mathilda even more. And because of that, everyone from the side of Turkey, they just seem that much more difficult to deal with. Like in the final sequence, this was that fight in the base, by the way, where it didn't really play out for them. It was kind of sporadic, but eventually Croatia just does Croatia things. After this, though, in the final fight sequence, you saw that Unohana initially piggybacked off the guiding wind, I believe, and that is what allowed her to save all of those gap closing spells to really just chase speed or feed down. Take a look at this, man. She used everything, the flicker, to try and get away from this dangerous Benedetta, but it just wasn't enough. It's almost as if the Sicilian would be better off going with a sprint, to just really get away and have a shorter cooldown and have a more reliable way of just
Oh,
kiting back away. Because she doesn't need to dodge from specific skills. She needs to get away from the hero itself, who is just very mobile. So Turkey once again showing that they know how to crack open bases. This for sure will force Croatia to rethink their decisions in the draft and in the execution.
yep, way too much scaling there, and just Turkey cleanly executing that close for that first game. But that's it. This is just the first game between Turkey and Croatia. We're still going to be having the match point here for Turkey for the next game. So don't you guys go away. The IESF women's qualifiers for the Europe region. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, back at home, we are back with the IESF Europe Regional Qualifier with in the ladies series, where early on Turkey has shown that when it comes to sieges, they're just so much more developed, so much more experienced with this, and they have demolished Croatia almost immediately. Now, can Croatia rebuild their defenses? Can they withstand yet another assault from Turkey? It's still me, Arashi, with Burger Kim for match number 2, game number 2, potentially being the last game here if Turkey succeeds.
Yep, if they manage to succeed with the same type of playstyle that they had, I think they're a little bit more confident in taking these dives, especially in the latter stages of the game. And how they close out the game has been very clean. So I think this is just more of like for Turkey and Croatia. Croatia just really has to find. I think they're going more for their comfort, right? So I think comfort over the meta pick. That's what I'm noticing in their draft because
Hmm.
usually you'd see a Julian priority for their side. So I'm not so sure if they're going to be on the blue side this time or are they going to be on the red side. So the Julian might actually be banned away if that's the case because that was something that Belarus did. So they should consider other possibilities here, and I think it really gets confusing as well if you kind of switch up your lineup, right? Like in last game you were playing either a jungler and now you're playing mid lane, so it might actually
Hmm.
get really confusing here. But it also could be like a pocket strat that they have, like kind of hide like heroes, right? Because like with different players rotating, but it gets really confusing too, especially now we're talking about match point between Croatia and Turkey.
Exactly. I think changing things up is great. It's always fun to see when teams can pull it off. But especially if you're trying to play this conservative style that you just play defensively, bring it to the late game, you need a degree of consistency to ensure that that always happens, right? Everyone needs to be familiar with their roles, what can be sacrificed, what needs to be let go. And changing up the roles like that might just make it more difficult for the side of Croatia to try and execute that game plan once again. So, going straight into the draft number 2 right here, we'll have to see. The Julian, like you mentioned, seems to be something that Croatia really likes using, but Turkey didn't really seem to have a big problem with that. And I feel like the big problem for the side of Croatia is that it's not just a team fight difference. In a team fight difference, the base can kind of help them out. There's things you can do in the draft to give you a better composition. The problem is, even in the laning phase, they are getting absolutely demolished, and that makes it
Yep.
a much harder problem to try and solve here for the side of Croatia. Because even if they really want to try and mitigate that by going for all aggressive, strong heroes in the laning phase, in the lanes, right? Then that means that they can't really rely on the synergy to be as good in the late game either. So Turkey now has multiple ways to really approach this problem, which is a stark contrast to match number one.
Mm-hmm. With this being said, Croatia this time makes it a little bit different this time. So usually, if they're on the blue side, they immediately pick up the Julian, but this time they go for a chip pick. So are they kind of signaling that again it's going to be a rotate of roles here? Is it going to be somebody else playing in the roam? So this means that Turkey can maybe pick up the maybe if you don't want to give too much to the side of Croatia, pick up the Loyi, or maybe steal away the Julian. Is that again a possible option? But this is what's really confusing too, right? Because they've been switching up their lineups time and time again. So for Turkey, they have to go for immediate power picks. Usually that's something that they go for, the hard meta picks. And with the Roger out of the picture, as well as the Valentina was still open, but the Julian, I did mention that they can actually pick it up or take it away from the side of Croatia. They lock it in for themselves, and the Valentina as well of Priceless that honestly did so well earlier, setting up the Numenon Blast. I think for the most part, she did not pick up any other ultimate other than the Numenon Blast of the Lolita.
Well, if there's no necessity to do so, I mean, why switch it up and go for a different ultimate, right? The fact is that they have, in theory, a lot of burst heavy heroes that don't really do well in a team fight setting. So it makes sense that they would just go for the Numenon Blast to try and equalize the situation. And even if they don't really get a big Numenon Blast, by the way, they can still get the benefit of splitting apart the composition, the formation of Croatia, which makes it more difficult for them to try and back each other up when the Benedetta comes barreling through and just deleting the whole backline. So I guess survivability of the backline becomes something that is a problem here that Croatia can't really get. So they went for this Leslie though. There's potential here for sure, but now that Turkey has that Julian, we all are
Yeah.
familiar with the dive potential, and man, even the Yu
Oh,
Song just
yeah.
dive in that backline. The Leslie can still technically kite back, right? You can push opposing heroes back away, kite back with the concealment that you can get for free from your kit. But man, the amount of maneuvers, right? The amount of gap closers that Turkey has right now in its own right is already a problem here for Croatia.
You're talking about late game and early game, and I think for Croatia, they again managed to pick up a hero that really shines in the late game. But with how Turkey played in game number one, we're not even sure if the match will even extend up until the 20-minute mark. So with Turkey having this amount of
Oh,
control and early game dive, they are just going to keep on doing that. This was the same strategy that they have, a different variation. They lock away or take away the Bane here for the side of Turkey. I think they're really leaving out all the possibilities or eliminating all the possible jungler options here for the side of Croatia, since the Julian has been stolen away. So they've also taken out the Loyi, which I mentioned, that could be combined with the chip. That's too much to give away actually for the side of Croatia. So they don't want that global presence, especially with the aggressive gangs that they've been doing. So this means that Turkey still needs that roamer, and perhaps maybe leave the option here for Miko to actually pick up her hero last. So either that or maybe pick up a gold later immediately to go head to head with the Leslie. The Claude hasn't been banned away here, so I'm thinking that's a possible option, especially the portal is out. You can have that blazing duet up, right? Like, and you have the BMI out as well. And with the Matilda, it's going to be so much more easier to
oh,
glide out. But wait, wow, wow. Okay, I would stop. Like,
okay.
Croatia really loves these like late game heroes, but I did not expect that. The Fanny and woo, Mystic Kim again. There goes the Claude. So good up against the portals, right? And the surprise ganks. So the BMI is a way out, and the blazing duet is a great ways to burst those heroes out. And with the Matilda, it's gonna be really easy to survive those team fights. But the Fanny though, from Croatia. I did not expect that at all.
Well, this is Croatia feeling like the defense is lost and just going for the offense, man. Leaving the castle here, trying to meet Turkey head on in the field. It's a very risky move, but if it pays off, this may catch Turkey completely off guard. Along with the Kagura, that now does a lot more damage with the Yin Yang overturn as well. So there is potential for sure. In the gold lane, though, in theory, as far as the matchup goes, the Claude actually gets quite countered by the Leslie. He can kind of poke down the Claude, and even if the Claude tries to go in for an all in, you can just disengage every single time. And the fact you can go conceal, the fact you can kind of disappear there makes it difficult for the Claude to really target you down and all in you as reliably as a Claude would want if he has an advantage. And you can also stop the Blazing Duet using the knockback from the Leslie. This is a matchup we talk about very often. Back when the Claude was very prio, the Leslie could be a potential counter. But Turkey again displaying that they have confidence in the mechanics. I was thinking myself, with Miro going very aggressive in game number one, it has to be some hero with like outplay potential. It cannot be just like a static hero. So it makes sense to me that the Claude does come through. But I think we just got information that there might be a remake.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Wow.
just kind of confirming as well. Is it going to be a change pick? Because that Fanny it just took my breath away. I wasn't sure if that was the either the final pick, right,
I mean, the
or was
Kagura
it?
didn't?
A, yeah. Oh, the no. It was a Kagura then Fanny, right, for the last
Right.
yeah the last two picks. So I just kind of confirming if that was the case, right? I think it's more of the yeah. I think it was like man Fanny. I think for Turkey's lineup it was a little bit more standard, right? For their side, a little bit of like steals coming out from their side as well. But I don't know, Rashi. What do you think so far about the draft we've seen?
I like the idea that, the defenders of the castle abandon all safety and just rush towards the attackers outside. In the movies, right? That usually kind of works out because, of course, it depends on who is the good guy in the movie setting. But I thought it would be a cool storyline, especially because we've seen them establish themselves as just defenders, right? But I guess again, it's a very risky maneuver, especially against a team like Turkey that has shown that on an individual level they have no qualms going for those 1v1 plays, 1v1 outplays again and again. Especially if they went for that Fanny, if it doesn't really play out, in theory, there's just less reliability if they want to go for that. So I do think it was a bit ambitious, especially against Turkey. So not too surprised that I guess you're also not too surprised, Kim, that we might see a remake, a redraft, if you may.
Yeah, we might actually potentially see that, right? And as we're waiting for the re-lobby here, I'm looking at this in the POV of Croatia, right? You've been playing what four, making this like the fifth match that they're playing, and this is already the match point. They're possibly yeah, it's gonna be their last game if ever here in IESF. So I think they have to pull all their cards out of their bag right now. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at what the possibilities are they gonna do to switch up? They've done it twice already, so this might actually be the third time that they're doing it. But I'm looking at the Ruby here, so I mean I'm not even sure how many players in the team can actually pick up the Ruby. So it's more of like it's very
Yeah.
confusing to me at this time, right? Like who's playing which role, like who goes where. It's just kind of like a big question for me here.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they've been swapping it around and just passing this Ruby on to a lot of different members of the team, you have to wonder, right? Because I know that they're all professionals and they probably have a very wide hero pool, and they probably in their own games have chances to just like flex it out and go to a different role. But on the professional level, the professional setting, even the mindset when you're playing that hero, right? Is it going to be a more aggressive? Is it going to be more supportive? An EXP lane Ruby and a roaming Ruby has a whole different mindset, right? And I feel like those differences, the subtle differences in how you want to plan your actions out, can also be an issue when you're kind of switching players, right? If you're generally an aggressive EXP lane Ruby player, if you move your roamer player or a mid lane player or whichever player into that EXP lane, it's not necessarily going to be the same kind of Ruby play style, right? And I think that's the kind of reliability they want to have against a team with solid laning like Turkey. So I think they might want to consider, I don't know, being a bit more straightforward, a bit more direct with their approach for sure. And now with the redraft though, I'm wondering how far back in the drafts we're gonna see the changes. Is it just the last two picks, or we're gonna see it repeat all the way from the beginning, even from the drafts, from the bans even?
I think you're right about the different type of play style, right? Regarding a specific hero. Say some people can play the Ruby to be a little bit more defensive. Somebody can play it a little bit more offensive, right? Like Succubus, who has been really good with the offensive. I am offended. So again, the different types of flavors and variations, like it's very interesting to see interesting to see too here in the matchup of Croatia and Turkey. So we're waiting for the redraft. Again, it's a match point. Everything has to be laid out perfectly, especially for Croatia, who has been playing their hearts out up until this game. So this could be potentially the last game. Turkey's already on their match point, or will Croatia, once again, being the defenders, extend it out to a possible game number 3 here in the series?
If they can make it a full best of three again, I think then they really deserve that moniker of being the defenders. But just like that, ladies and gentlemen, I think soon we're gonna go straight into the drafting phase. And again, I wonder which pick exactly we're gonna see a difference from. If it starts
Mhm.
all the way from the beginning, now this is quite interesting because there's a chance that there's an expectation now, right? For the side of Croatia at least. Now they kind of at least have a bit of an inkling on what Turkey can and will use. We saw the Mathilda come up again right there, and I do agree with this kind of composition, with this kind of playstyle, where you want to be aggressive, where you orchestrate dives, and you need to get your teammates out of trouble, but still be able to actually go for crowd control tools like a knock up, go for some damage with the wisp. I mean, the Mathilda is just a very great all rounder, especially if you want to be uh, I don't know, active, like playmaking heavy. So I feel like that is something that from the drafting phase that didn't go through, Croatia can kind of read into, right? And they can kind of get an idea. Okay, it's gonna be the same kind of aggressive laners. They're gonna rely on the guiding wind, and maybe from there they can try and come up with a strategy now.
I think Croatia as well has to go for the best game that they've had, like the best lanes that to contain like the teams, right? Like they've already been playing
Mm-hmm.
4 matches. So in those 4 matches, which was the combination that had the best laning phase? There has to be one, right? Because we have to take a look again at the overall draft here for the teams. It's going to be starting it off again.
Oh,
Uh, Yep, it's going to be still going to be the same picks and bans here, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, like it's going to be going real fast. For the sides or the teams, you've seen the bans already laid out. So, this is going to be the side of Turkey on the blue side, and the red side as well. You
yeah.
got in Croatia.
Hang on a second. Am I imagining things, or was it actually the opposite? Was Croatia not on the blue side earlier?
Yeah, it was
If my
Croatia
memory
actually.
serves me correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like you don't really have that short-term memory loss, Arashi. You're right. It's
Yeah, I
actually
was.
them on the blue side. You're gonna have to be worried though if you kind of had like a different memory than what I had, right? Ooh, wow, that's something new. Estes. I actually believe it was
Okay.
a chip and then a ruby that was picked up by Yeah, chip and then a ruby, if I'm not mistaken, for Croatia when they were on the blue side. So now it's going to be Turkey with this pick. Oh wow, this is gonna be so good with the Loyi. Like that's what the Loyi loves. Everybody clumped up together, and with the Estes, it's just perfect. It's not even banned
Hmm.
away. Plus, it has special
Oh, but
voice
there's
lines with the
still.
Yuzong. I like that.
Oh, you're right. I forgot there's an
Right?
extra benefit. Having that Yuzong though, man, that just negates the whole backline presence and the Bane. This Bane was banned away by Turkey themselves, I believe, when
Oh,
they
I think they
saw
know.
that Croatia was gonna play this defensive style. They're gonna try and stop the dive. Now, because they didn't go for the ban or they're unable to because they wanted to secure the chip because they want to ban away other heroes, they pick up the Bane themselves. So now with everyone clumping up together like this, there's a chance that this Bane can still just wreak havoc completely, right? Force everyone to disperse or take the full brunt from the deadly catch. And with now
Oh,
with
there you go.
Croatia going for the Beatrix as well, there's gonna be a lot of AOE available to them, to their credit. But we've seen the Beatrix go up against Yutongs all the way from when the Yutong could be used in the gold lane a couple of seasons back. It's
Oh
never a
yeah.
good time if you're a Beatrix, man. You just get completely annihilated.
And the I mean Uno Hana's the one playing this, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
he's a very uh he's a very aggressive XP laner. So what's what's worrying me here is going to be the backlines, the Estes, right? If it gets caught out first by how aggressive Uno Hana can play, then it's gonna spell trouble here for the side of Croatia. But I think what's really interesting here is they prioritize the Bane. So this is a heavy prioritization on the Bane for Turkey instead of the
Mm-hmm.
Loi, which I said that could have endless possibilities with this lineup, with the Loi being banned away in the second phase, right? So I think they might actually perhaps go for something else here. For the side of Turkey, they're now banning out the mid laners. Actually, both sides don't even have any mid laners, and with the Julian performance or the Prio pick on this, they have to ban this out, right? They stole it away in the first draft before we had this redraft. They actually
Mm-hmm.
picked up or stole
Oh,
away the Julian, and now we're hovering over a Valir. I'm not so sure how that will work out, though. You do need that kind of more AOE. I know this is great for melee heroes back when the tank meta was still a thing, but I'm not sure
oh,
though about this
let's
one.
go.
But let's go with it. I know you like this pick, Arashi, personally, and I think it can also kind of stop out the tracks here of whoever comes out through the portal. But I do still am feeling that this lineup of Croatia lacks that AOE from the mage. So for the side here of Turkey, I think they can go for heroes that are great, especially when everything's clumped up together. I was gonna say the Savior. I was setting it up. The Savior is so good with
Oh,
the Estes, because if you think about it, right, the passive will really proc if you have everybody clumped up together. And what better way to have that than to be an opponent with the Estes? And honestly, that's my counter for the Estes, if not the Loi. It's either the Savior or Sicilian. And if you're talking about meta right now, it's definitely the Savior on top.
all right, man. The Savior coming through. If it becomes a prolonged fight here
Oh
now, there's going to
wow,
be a lot of
okay.
AoE. The Fanny still comes through, though, for the side of Croatia. Yet another curveball the second time around. I was thinking there are going to be a couple of purifies on the side of Croatia,
Uh,
but they're willing to just go straight at it and brave the crowd control that is available to the side of Turkey. And right now, especially with the Valir, I guess technically the Valir can kind of cleanse off a bunch of that, purify a bunch of the crowd control out. And then if they just come through and rush straight at you, the stuns coming through from the passive, from the fireballs landing, and of course the pushback, that could also serve as a setup, right? When everyone's actually varying distances away from your team. If everyone gets pushed back and stunned by the Valir, that sets up for a Bennett's Rage, that sets up for the Fanny just slice and dicing all over the place. So there is potential here in the hands of Croatia. And I'm a big fan of the fact that, we thought that, okay, there's no way the Fanny was an actual, like, pick they wanted to go for. That was the mistake. They're going to change
yeah.
it. But they doubled down on it. That is very unexpected. And I'm looking forward to see how it performs, man.
I'm also curious about the combination here, because rarely would you pair up the Estes with the Fanny, right? And I think there's this ongoing meme.
Yeah.
Now I'm just laughing about it when I think about it. Like the ongoing meme that has been posted on the respective MLBB social media pages, where we're in
Uh-huh.
like it's the Estes chasing after the assassin. Hey, stop, stop, stop! And then Estes would like use a car to run after or chase after the assassins. Like, hey, stop! I'm trying to heal you. I think that's my personal frustration as well as an Estes, right? And if you have an assassin on your side, because say assassins like Hayabusa, Fanny, and Ling, how on earth can you heal them? Like you have to be really, really fast. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dire Bai goes for a sprint here, but she's not. She has the flicker. And looking at this, are we seeing any particular battle spell that is kind of out of the ordinary here, Arashi? Anything like too crazy? It's a Vengeance Claude, by the way, this time. So how's that going to fare up
Yep.
against a Beatrix?
I think it's just an extra bit of survivability, especially with a Fanny in the picture. I think we all remember,
Oh yeah.
only not from Turkey, but the men's side, the Fanny plays. As we talked about it, boom, immediately going for aggressive maneuvers around the map. But looking at the battle spells, I thought a Purify was definitely showing up for the Estes, but Mireia now going for play still.
Flicker out from Ivona. He's gonna be the one playing on the gold lane. That is going to be a flicker out from the side of but Miko. There's the we were just asking about the battle spells. There goes the Vengeance to kind of be a little bit more tanky here, or that would have been either an execute or maybe a retribution cutthroat from So Useless. Here comes the first turtle
Mhm.
of the game. 1 minute in. Let's check it out. Definitely for the side of Turkey, they have a little bit more advantage. Looking at how the XP lane is going out, Unohana has been just being menaced here up against Succubus, poking, even life stealing her way into this game, getting in at least at level 4 as early as possible, even way before Succubus.
But they don't send Noah to the top side either to get that level 4. So it's still an uncontested turtle. Croatia does not want that smoke, man, against a Black Dragon form, especially in the hands of Unohana. We've seen that aggression just come through time and time again. But look at the invade immediately, taking away some of the buffs from this Fanny. They can shut down that way. But look at the bottom side, man. That's the aggression coming through. Still from Turkey. And So Useless is forced to back away from it. This is going to be so difficult. And if you look at the battle spells as well, by the way, rather the emblem from Nora, Temporal Rain, so that you can go engage, go for the shortcut, and then have your spells off cooldown once more. You can see though, with the way that Turkey is playing, they're just kind of denying So Useless a lot of this potential. They're not getting low in the lane, and for the most part, each of them has some kind of way to deal with a lunging Fanny that's trying to do damage. So we'll see how good Soyuz can get. Because if he is just stuck farming again and again, looking for a gold difference, Mireia will definitely outperform the farming style on this Bane.
Yep, and now we see the Blazing Duet onto So Useless. Shanta real low. It's gonna be
Ooh.
dire by taking again the brunt of the damage. It's gonna be 2 kills towards the Claude. There goes the Dawning Light. Speed or feed gonna be taken down there as Unohana will be able to back up the entire team. And now Ivona, she's in trouble. She's in trouble under their own turrets, and the Cutthroat will finally get down Miko. A little bit too overconfident there. The dives were coming through again for Turkey, but this time Croatia just kind of bites back up against them.
And Mireia also barely survived from that play. The built-in healing from the Ale really got her out of that situation. But this is what they have to be careful with now. If they still think that Turkey has no damage to swing around in this early game, they are wrong, man. The Fanny is definitely still a real threat, but it seems like Turkey is undeterred, going straight for the purple buff, but So Useless is still able to secure it. I think the big question here is a die or buy. We saw that in the previous engagement, she got taken out before even popping the Blessing of the Moon Goddess. And going with the focusing mark as well, it's definitely a more aggressive approach, but without a Purify, there's a chance that in these later stages of the fight, Turkey will be able to delete her before she can get the ultimate off.
More bursted down there. There goes the deadly catch from the Bane. So Useless gets in the punish there from the side of Turkey. And now without the jungler, this is gonna be tough though. Like definitely the purple buffs will be invaded, right? Like there won't be enough time to actually take that one out. And now with the Dawning Light as well to assist, it's gonna be Mireia picking up that turtle for the side of Turkey.
I'm surprised that no one took that portal back down and allowed Ivona, who's on the gold lane, by the way. Hello. Top side, Unohana gets jumped on, but she's trying to make an outplay happen here. Black Dragon's forms out of the
She
situation.
still survives. There goes Nora as well through the portal. He's just like, hey, I'm here, guys. I'm here. I'm here for the backup. That was a lot of slows though for Unohana to take in. And then you got the slows from the blessing of the or rather the second skill coming out from the Estes. And then Succubus popped in the I am offended. So there was a lot of skills or layering of skills to actually try and take down Unohana, but they were still unsuccessful. I guess the damage was not there just yet for speed or feed. So this is a failure, and not to mention the turtle has been taken by the side of Turkey for the first round. So out they go again through the portal, just when Succubus thinks that she can get them. But now with the
Ooh.
Mystic Field and the Dawning Light, a little bit too much to take in, even under their own turret. And Ivona has been ganked out constantly, actually forced to use out the flicker so defensively as Miko will be able to move forward here.
Great piece from Nora here to really enable the team. And earlier the top side, by the way, just highlighting it again, the temporal rain. She uses the shortcut in order to get the cooldowns off on her first and second skill, but so useless. Catch was priceless, off guard. That's the savior being so vulnerable. Nora still tries to equalize on the other side. Now on the bottom side, double kill for Mireia. Croatia just not respecting the fact that they don't have that damage to swing around unless so useless is in the area. They gotta try and be a bit more careful, man.
Yeah, it's so useless. The one that really can execute, damage dealers like Miko and Priceless, and not to mention, like, apart from having great burst damage with the Bane, what's honestly insane about this? Before it was even adjusted, like the Bane can really take down turrets so fast. You see how like one deadly catch was able to chunk down that turret to real low, and now with this being said, 7 minutes into the turtle. Team Turkey will try to go and get it. It's going to be retribution secured. Again, the cutthroat comes through, but it's not enough to take down
Ooh.
Priceless this time. So useless has one target. It is going to be the savior, but here over on the other side, Miko will be able to take down one. There's the Dawning Light and the deadly catch to boot. And will it be enough? Succubus able to buy some time. Gets that I am offended. Going to be tanking up the tower and gets the outplay once again. I see that this seems to be a thing for Croatia. They really use the turrets to its fullest potential, like to have that additional damage. And apart from that, though, the side of Turkey, they're not forgetting to kind of like get in the trades here, whether it be turrets, whether it be kills. They're not forgetful when it comes to doing the converts.
And it seems like the side of Croatia aren't aware that the purple buff is taken, but left. The small creep is left up there as Speed of Feet tries to go for a solo play. Won't work out in their favor though. And the orange buff still gets denied as well. So useless though. We'll have one still available. I think she might have stolen it from the side of Turkey earlier. But look at the map. For the most part, the turrets are starting to fall. And that means that the aggression that Croatia wants to bring to the table is going to be a bit more risky because the buffs of this Fanny is just delayed, it's just disrupted. And look at Ivona.
Wow, Nora going in through the portal, picks up a killing spree, as well as Miko coming right through, blazing duet in to clean up the work, and right after that, the portal to bring everyone in once again. It's so difficult here. Succubus manages to come through here as well, gets the I am offended. She has the immortality here right now. Nora gonna be able to tank that one up, but with the slows coming out from the Valir, it is gonna be a little bit hard. You definitely can't move through that one. That's the I'm offended. And the slows from the Valir's Flames.
That was just unfortunate. They were just sitting around as if the portal is a one-way street, but out of nowhere comes in Succubus to really equalize. Turkey's gotta be a bit more careful than that, man. But die or buy. Again, no Purify, no Flicker even available. Walking up like that, that's a bold move, man. You gotta respect the damage that Turkey can swing back at you. No turrets down just yet. And I think slowly but surely, Turkey is constricting the resources available to the side of Croatia. But now with the Lord available, they actually sent Unohana to go for this split push style, ensuring that, even if there's any play from Croatia, she can definitely get out with the Black Dragon form. Lord take though from Turkey.
Oh, gonna be Maria with the retribution this time. An attempt there, but the deadly catch is so useless. And the blazing duet to boot. The shutdown comes through for Speed or Feed, and now Succubus able to buy some time with the I am offended. A double kill for Mireia. 14 kills for the side of Turkey, and they got the first Lord of the game.
That was unfortunate, man. So useless, comes in and just gets immediately nuked, but Unohana,
whoa, goes in for the furious dive, gets in die or buy, as well as Mireia coming through the portal as well. They're gonna get in the killing spree, and this is tough, man. Tough for so useless. Not even able to get the purple buff. She was able to get in those executes on, the squishy heroes like the Savior. Perhaps even Miko. But right now, without the purple buff, she is a little bit useless here right now. The Fanny is very much dependent on that. And now Nora, Succubus,
Oh,
the rest of the gang, gonna go in for the deadly catch, denying in that I am offended. They got the Lord as well on the bottom side, so useless. Gonna go for the shutdown with the cutthroat. And without the purple buff, let's see if she can actually make it through. Miko with the blazing duet again. It's gonna create a lot of damage, but with the Estes
whoa.
to sustain up the damage, it is going to be enough. A little bit too deep right in there. It is going to be an XP laner for the price of an XP laner. A little bit too much this time for the side of Turkey. A little bit too overconfident, but of course they know they have this in the bag. They are on the lead. They are on the driver's seat. And even Priceless right now is starting to make it look really uncomfortable here for the
Ooh.
side of Croatia, because you can instantly get deleted by the mid laner and the gold laner, and Dire by even just standing there, can't even get anything, as Turkey, Miko, and the rest of the gang will go for the final push and take this series with our first sweep for the women's division.
Man, just like that, it's over. That came out of nowhere, man. Turkey showing again the aggression that's still calculated. Despite the best efforts were so useless there, she got stuck in the field, gets immobilized, and immediately gets shut down. And the fact that the side of Croatia has the Estes, we didn't see a single massive Blessing of the Moon Goddess play because it wasn't allowed, right? The way they were playing it is this back and forth, and you never know when the actual full brunt of damage coming in from Turkey is going to arrive. They started with the lanes as expected, especially in that EXP lane. Unohana is an absolute menace. From there, they just immediately kept leveraging their advantage, and slowly but surely, the jungle, so useless, also started feeling the pressure, started losing the buffs, and from there, it's a matter of time, man. It's the global presence enabled by Nora as well. The creative use of the temporal rain to get more stuns, more plays happening around the map. Definitely have to highlight that as well. And overall, Mieko with the Vengeance battle spell, I think it's a great option right here, because you're not seeing a lot of situations where the Claude needs to kite back or get away or reposition fast. It's all about standing there and just trading blow for blow. And I think we're reminded here about that Bane damage, man. That moment right there where the Fanny just gets snapped away
Deleted.
out of existence. I feel like that's a reminder, dude. Like, you give the Bane the farm, the items, you get nuked.
Yeah, I mean, even the Fanny could not stand a single chance there. There were shining moments for so useless, but in this game, in the series, it was Turkey that Sean Brightly, of course, was able to close out this series with a 2-0 up against Croatia. Props as well to Croatia for putting up the longest games and putting up a great fight here up against Belarus and Turkey. But for now, we're going to take a break. Next up, we're going to be having Serbia and Ukraine. So don't you guys miss out. We're going to be back for more MLBB women's action here at the European Regional Qualifiers of IESF. See you guys in a bit.